All right, so I want that to overpower that. It's very, very close, but that's kind of the juggling that you're gonna be doing as you're developing. You know, a lot of these lines, I gotta make sure they're level and all that stuff. You'll get that as you develop the painting. If you get to a point where you feel that you're starting to get too detailed, and I'll reform that shape into what it is at some point. Don't feel like you have to keep everything on here. Okay, a lot of times I will, once I get some of this information on there, I'll go scrape it. All right, so let's try, see what that does. Eventually, this scraper will go away.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, you don't want to use it. Some of these lines I like, so I'm not going to scrape too much of that. Okay? And so I broke it down. Now I'll go redevelop it, okay? And I'll keep some of those edges in there. And it's just a matter of going back and forth, back and forth. All right, I'm going to put in some dark accents in here so you can really see that punch a little bit. Okay? All right, let's, I'm gonna sit here and paint this whole thing. You guys get the idea of how to kind of develop it? Start to
Yep.
develop it?
So now, when do you go back to your focal
Yes.
point at this point?
I keep going back. Once I knock it down, I go right back
Go
into
right
that.
back in.
And I'll put in some of those similar lines that I lost, that angle line. I lost the highlight of, I lost that really light area right
Right.
there. Just go right, I go right back into that. And I know that sounds tedious. Like I said, that scraper will go away probably after the next layer. But what I'm doing is I'm creating these edges in here and some of this abstraction of that movement of not only the palette, the color I put down there, but also the palette knife moving it around that I'm going to keep. That creates a lot of movement in there. But I don't know, I can't do that until I knock it down and then bring it back, knock it down, bring it back.
Now, if your study is from organic shapes rather than geometric shapes like this one,
Yes.
do you still use that scraper and create those strong lines?
Yes, I
You
will.
still do?
Yeah. If you talk about this shape down here,
Well, no, say
Well,
like,
the buildings versus a
like
apple or
a
something.
landscape of trees and, clouds.
yes,
and-
I will. I won't do it, I won't use as much, obviously, hard edge for some of those lines, but I will still pull that down. Like on your clouds, it's that, to create that soft edge, pulling those colors into each other.
Mhm.
Using a roller, use this roller and just pull some of those colors from one, let's see if this is still wet, one piece to the next, okay?
Mhm.
That, that will help, for lack of a better word, blend those things together. That'll
And
mix.
keep laying paint in and blending.
Exactly, and the more layers you go, the less of these you're gonna use, because this knocks it down pretty well, and this knocks it down pretty well. You'll just be using a brush now to kind of move those around. So when I'm you know, up into here, and I wanna move, let me put this in. I
So
wanna,
you work on your focal point until you're happy with it, then you move out.
Back and forth.
I go back
Back
and
and
forth,
forth.
yeah, I'll work on that, and then I'll put some elements out here,
Mhm.
and then I'll knock it down, then I'll go back into it. I don't wanna just completely finish that. I'm slowly building out, you know, I started
Mhm.
working out here, and I'll start moving there as this develops. So it's, you know, you've gotta get things next to each other before you can solve that, okay?
Chris, when this is completed, are you gonna have that original, as much original orange background showing in the
No,
painting?
not enough, but
Does
it
it-
would all depend on that. Right now, this is
competes
all
with it.
taken away from
Yeah.
that, exactly.
Okay.
So if I would, you know, when I eliminate that, you know, that's
Yeah,
gonna
then it
pop even
pops
more.
out. Okay.
But right now, visually, it's not bugging me. It probably bugs you,
Yeah,
because, you
yeah.
know, you're back there. But yeah, no, that's a very good point. And that's the thing is, I typically try and leave it until I have to get rid of it, until it's, you know, in the way. And right now, I'm just focused right in here.
Because
And-
when it was lighter, when you first put it on, it appeared, it popped out much more. Now it blends in
Right.
with,
Yeah, but-
Yeah.
yeah. And the further I develop it, now it's starting to distract. So, you know,
Okay.
I'll eliminate that, but I want to keep, you know, pieces of it coming through, but I just don't know where and how much right now until I start to develop that painting.
okay.
But to go back to what Jenny was asking, is that now, you know, I'll get to a point where I'm not using those scrapers anymore, and I'm just using a brush or paint to make changes within those shapes. So if I want to, you know, move this around here, I'm just taking a dry brush, and I can start to eliminate things. Or reshape
Wow.
things just by use of paint, okay? And there's still paint on there, and that's why I'm trying to use more paint. So when I go back in there, I have something to move around. If it's really thin, you're screwed, okay? The other thing is real quickly on edges, is that to create, you know, edges, we talked about in the black and white, you're picking a value that exists in between. Well, if I wanna, you know, lose